All right, everybody, we are on to our next set of notes. Make sure that you have paper, a notebook, and pencil to write down these notes for this particular lesson. So we're going to continue with this financial algebra, right? And today's lesson is called, let me highlight the lesson here, is called hourly pay rates. These are extremely important in life, right? When you get a job, you're going to earn a wage. You're going to get paid a certain amount of money per hour. You're going to work a certain number of hours, and you want to make sure that you are getting paid what you're earning, right? And not get hustled. So, let us start with some vocabulary that we need to know. So, the first word we see is wage. So, wage is paid hours, paid for hours worked, right? So your wage are somebody that makes a wage is someone that works and makes an hourly rate. Thus, it is rate times hours, right? If you make $25 times 4 hours worked, and that is the formula to find out how much money you made, right? So that's a wage. Second is salary. So salary is somebody that has a fixed pay amount. That means that person can work 40 hours a week or they can work 60 hours a week. They get paid the same amount of money, right? Usually it's a contract that says a lot of athletes get contracts. They have salaries. Somebody that works at a supermarket or a Starbucks, they have a wage, right? The amount they get paid depends on how many hours worked. Salary, like for example, like I said, athletes, right? Some athletes work more hours one day than they do the next. They have an off season, right? But they get the same amount of money every year, right? Okay. Next, hourly rate. Okay, your hourly rate means how much you get paid an hour, right? Amount paid per hour, right? So usually a full-time employee will work 8 hours a day, right? And work 40 hours a week. That's 5 days. 8 times 5 is 40, right? 8 hours, 5 days, right? Typically, the one that's most common is Monday through Friday, 5 days, 8 hours a day. 8 times 5 is 40 hours a week. All right? That's your hourly rate. Then you get overtime rate. Overtime means when you work more than 8 hours a day. So the law says that an employee or a company must pay their employees a certain number per hour, right? But after 8 hours, it becomes overtime, right? So 8 plus hours a day, it becomes overtime pay, overtime rate. And the way they figure that out is they take your pay and it's 1.5 times amount of regular pay. So they take your pay and they multiply it by 1.5. 1.5 times the amount of your regular pay. And also, it's more than 40 hours a week, right? Because 40 hours a week is regular. If you work more than 40 hours a week, then you are working overtime. And like I said, the way they figure that out, your rate is they take your rate and they multiply it by 1.5 to figure out your overtime rate, how much you're going to get paid an hour during overtime. So those are the vocabulary words that we're going to use in this lesson. All right? So let's go to our first example here. So let's see. So we have, so let's read our, let me make this a little smaller. Let's read our question here. What is Maria's wage if she works 5.5 hours on Tuesday? So she worked 9.5 hours on Tuesday. And she makes $22.51 an hour. So how much did she make on Tuesday? So let's see. So Tuesday, okay, Tuesday. So we need to know how much she makes, right? What is her wage? So we're going to take the rate times the hours, right? So her rate is how much money she makes an hour, which is $22.51. So she makes 22.51. And how many hours did she work? She worked 5.5 hours. 5.5. So we're going to take this formula here, rate times hours. So we say rate times hours. Okay. So her rate was $22.51, $22.51, times she worked 5.5 hours. So we're going to multiply that and see how much she made on Tuesday, right? So I'm going to use my calculator here that is in Schoology, right? The scientific calculator on Desmos. And I am literally going to copy exactly what I see here. I'm going to say parentheses 22.51 times 5.5 parentheses. So I'm going to copy that down here. 22.5. Oh, what did I forget? I forgot parentheses, right? Which is right here. Parentheses 22.51 times 5.5, close parentheses, and I get, look, immediately without pressing enter, 123.805. So 123.805. But I need to put this in terms of cents. I need to round to the nearest cents. So this 5 is going to push this 0 to a 1. So I'm going to get $123.81. Right? And so the question is, what is Maria's wage if she worked 5.5 hours on Tuesday and she makes $22.51 an hour? So Maria's Tuesday wage is $123.81. $123.81. That's how much she make. That's how much she made, excuse me, for working on Tuesday. $123.81. Okay. Perfect. Make sure you're copying everything down, everyone. Everything down. Let's move on to number 2 here. So let's see. What is Maria's overtime rate? What is Maria's overtime rate if she makes $22.51 an hour? So if she makes $22.51 per hour, what is her overtime rate? Right? What is her overtime rate? So let's go over here and let's look for overtime. Overtime says we do the rate times 1.15. So let's see here. So we have rate. So what is Maria's rate? How much does she make per hour? She makes $22.51, right? Which we knew from the previous problem. So now let's find her overtime rates, her OT rate. OT rate, which is right here. Rate times 1.5. So parentheses, rate times 1.5. So our rate is $22.51. So 22.51 times 1.5. Right? So again, we're going to type this into the calculator. All right. Parentheses 22.51 times 1.5. Exactly the way I see it. Okay, so let me clear it right here. And I'm going to say parentheses and, can't forget, $22.51 times time and a half, 1.5 parentheses. So look at that. I typed it in and immediately it gave me 33.675. 33.765. This 5 is going to push this 6 to a 7. So I get 33.77. So the question was, what is Maria's overtime rate? Maria's overtime rate is money, right? $33.77. There you go. So guys, to get an idea, sorry, you guys can't see that. So to give you an idea, this is her overtime rate. So when she works, right, 8 hours a day, look at this, right? If she works up to 8 hours a day, she gets paid $22.51 an hour. But if she works more than 8 hours, every extra hour after 8 hours, she gets paid $33.77 because it's considered overtime. Anything after 8 hours, the 9th hour, the 10th hour, the 11th hour, the 12th hour are considered overtime, and this is how much she makes. Okay? So, let us do number 3. So number 3, guys, is everyone is going to be a combination of both regular pay and overtime pay. So let's see here. On a Saturday, Maria worked a 15-hour shift. So she worked for 15 hours. How much did she earn that day? How much did she earn that day? Okay. So she worked 15 hours. Okay. So we want to know. So this is total hours. Total hours is 15, right? But we want to know how many regular hours she worked. So remember, regular hours is 8 hours. So minus regular hours, which is 8. So 15 minus 8, 15 minus 8 is 7. This is overtime hours right here, right? So she has, let me change the color here again. Let's change it to this light green here. So 8 regular hours and 7 overtime hours. So let's see our rates. So what is her regular rate? So let's see, regular rate. How much does Maria make at her job, regular hours? Which is right here, look, on number 1, $22.51. So 22.51. Overtime rate. Overtime rate we found here on number 2. her overtime rate was $33.77. $33.77. So now, guys, what we have to do is we have to figure out how much she made altogether. So first, I'm going to take her regular wage, right? Her regular wage. So let's say here, regular wage. Her regular wage was the rate. What is her regular rate? Her regular rate was 22.51. Actually, let me highlight this as well. Her regular rate was $22.51. 22.51 times her regular hours, which are 8. Right? Plus, so in total, it's her regular wage plus her overtime wage. Right? So how much is her overtime wage? Well, how much did she make? What is her rate for overtime? $33.77. $33.77 times her overtime hours, 7 times 7. And look at that. That is our problem here. Now, we can multiply them all separately, but look at this, everyone. This is why they have the magic of this scientific calculator. So let us copy this exactly the way we see it. Okay? Let us copy this exactly the way we see it. Parentheses 22.51 times 8, parentheses, plus, parentheses, 33.77 times 7, parentheses. Exactly the way you see it, everyone, with all the parentheses put together, right? So parentheses, 22.51 times 8 hours, parentheses, plus another parentheses, 33.77 times 7, and then close parentheses. So let me make sure that that looks, let me see. So let me make sure that that looks exactly like that. Perfect. And what do we get? Look at this. $416 so all of this gives me 416.47. There you go. Look at this. Maria, on Saturday, Maria worked 15-hour shift. How much did she earn that day? So Maria, that day, excuse me, you guys couldn't see it. So Maria on Saturday, that's not how you spell Saturday. On Saturday, Maria made $416.47. Look at that. Look at that. That was regular pay plus overtime pay, right? Because she worked more than 8 hours. She worked 15 hours. Okay? And that right there, kiddos, is our hourly pay rate lesson. Make sure that you wrote everything down. Make sure that you paused if you needed to. Okay, but these are the kind of problems you're going to see in the worksheet. Okay, that's awesome, guys. This is really important work. This is real life math right here that I want everybody to be able to know. All right, thank you for being with me. Peace out.